In this video, I'm going to go over the software that you need for the class. In order to write a program, you need to use a text editor. Text editors are different from word processors because they don't have those special embedded characters that mark up a document. For example, in a word processor, you might have headers or bullets or paragraphs, and all those things are defined in your document with hidden codes. And those hidden codes interfere with the ability of a compiler or an interpreter to run any code. Therefore, you need to use a text editor and not a word processor when you write code. Examples of text editors are Notepad, Notepad for Windows, TextEdit for Mac, or Atom can be used for both.
For this class, we had been using Atom as our editor. It's a wonderful editor, but it has been sunset, which means it's no longer supported, no longer has bug fixing. So we're going to use a new editor for this semester. It's called Visual Studio Code, and it works for both Mac and Windows so that we can use it together. And it does include a debugger. You might see some of the videos using JEdit, which is an editor that I had used in the past, and many of the videos will also be shown using Atom. It doesn't matter, it's the same idea. You're typing text into the editor to write your code, so you can just use Visual Studio for all of your assignments, even if some of the videos are using a different editor.
Examples of word processors that you've used, probably Microsoft Word. You've probably written a lot of documents using that tool, and that will not work for your code because of those special characters. In addition, there are integrated development environments that basically have the text editor and all the tools to build and run the program and debug the program. We don't need such a heavyweight solution for our class because we're going to be writing in JavaScript, which is an interpreted code, and we can run that and debug that just in our browser.
To install Visual Studio Code, you're going to click on this link that is in the PowerPoint presentation, also available on Canvas, or you can just type in the characters. When you get to the site, you'll see that there's a blue download button. You can go ahead and click that. And you're going to want to select the right one for your laptop. Most of you will be on a Windows, so you'll select the Windows. Those of you on Macs can go ahead and select the Mac version. You'll click on the button and it will start downloading it. You'll see a window pop up, or maybe it will show up down on the bottom of your browser window. Either way, it's going to download a file that may automatically run once it's downloaded, or you may have to double click on it to get it to install. Usually your browser will support allowing you to open the downloads folder directly from your window. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can see it's downloading. It's not complete yet. This unconfirmed will change into the file like I have here. I have already downloaded the Windows one. The unconfirmed will switch into that name once it's downloaded. Mac, it could be named a little bit differently. To run it, once it is downloaded, see how it's downloaded here, same file, just has a 1 after it saying that it's the second time it's downloaded. So you can install it by double clicking on it. And you can go ahead and accept the terms. I recommend that you create a desktop icon so it's easier to find. And then you can just accept the defaults to go ahead and install it. There's an option to click to launch Visual Studio Code right away after install. That's a great idea to do so you can see it in action right away. And here it is. The very first time you open it up, it's going to go through some menus, let you pick if you want light background or dark background. It's really up to you. If you don't see an Explorer here already, you can go to View and select the Explorer, and that will bring up your Explorer so you can look at files from your file system, whether it's Mac or Windows. And so I already have my folder here for spring. If you want to open a folder, click on the file and say you want to open a folder, and then you'll be able to pick a location from where you want to open your files from. So I could just go from this test directory. And now I have some different files that I can open up. And I'm going to go ahead and say I trust those authors, so it won't keep asking me questions. If I open up this HTML file, it says that it's going to use some JavaScript. You're going to learn about that later. And then you can actually run that JavaScript by just saying run and start debugging. The first time, it's going to ask you what you want to use. We're going to use Chrome, so select the web app Chrome. And then it will just open up Chrome for you and go ahead and run that HTML file for you. And so here's an example of an HTML page with some JavaScript on it. I have a JavaScript program for you to download that you can test your editor working and running JavaScript code. You'll find that on the Canvas page. The nice thing about this editor is it does have some color coding. So you see I'm now in the Run menu. So if I want to go back and view my Explorer, I go to View and Explorer. And I can actually look at my JavaScript code, and it has some nice color coding in there. And we're going to learn how to write some JavaScript.
Now, we talked about displaying HTML in Atom directly, but we also want to be able to display our HTML pages in a web browser, because that's generally how you're going to deliver your applications to users. Modern browsers execute JavaScript. They have built-in interpreters, and they provide access to a model of the data in your HTML page that allows JavaScript to make changes to your HTML pages. And we're going to learn about that in more detail later on in the class. So some examples of browsers would be Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Safari, Opera. For this course, we're going to use Chrome. Chrome can be used on both Windows and Mac, so that allows us to be consistent and when we're working with each other to make it easier. Generally, your laptop will come with Chrome installed. If you do not have Chrome on your stout laptop, you can go ahead and install it from this link here. Once you have it installed, if you open up your Chrome, and you want to get to the console, just like we did in Atom, you can press Control-Shift-I on Windows or Command-Option-I on the Mac. So if I hold all those keys down together, we get the same console window that we have in Atom. And we can clear those issues and start typing in JavaScript code right there in the console. You can also open up the console by, on the Mac, pressing the menu key, or on Windows, right-clicking, and then clicking this Inspect. You can see the keyboard shortcut to get there also. And then remember to switch to the Console tab. And that wraps up all the tools we need for CS 141.